A lot of men don't have these conversations. They suffer in silence, especially being a provider, because you taught that you gotta do this. And I meet so many men in the gym that are depressed, and they tell me, man, Kevin, what did you do? I tell them I started learning to love the stranger that was once myself.
At ease, brothers. Man, have you ever heard a grown man say that he's tired? You know what I'm saying? When a brother says, man, I'm tired, boss. I'm going to tell you something. That doesn't mean he's sleepy. When a grown man says he's tired, man, and all of us have been there, brothers. When a grown man says that he's tired, what he's saying is, man, the world has me on the ropes. The world has me on the ropes. And I'm going to tell you this, brothers. The world has a lot of men on the ropes right now, man. But I'm going to tell you this, man. It's simply, you know, to come out of that situation, man, to come out of that energy, that frequency, brothers, it's simply a matter of taking control. It's simply a matter of taking control. As simple as that sounds, man. I remember there was a radio interview. I get confused if it was either 1956, 57, or 58, right? It was Brother Neville Goddard, man. He was on a radio station out in California during that time frame. And they asked Brother Neville about future events, right? And Neville Goddard said, hey, there's going to come a point in time, man, where mankind won't be able to rely on its government. It won't be able to rely on its churches, its fraternities, and all these other bodies we lean upon for support. Neville said it's going to come a point in time, man, where those institutions, man, they won't give a man any value. They won't be able to help a man in any way. Neville said the only way a man can turn his life around, or the only way that a man can find the solution to the problem he's facing, is to go within. And I spoke about this on the Real 1%. For y'all that missed that, if I can remember, I'll leave a snippet of it at the end of this, man. Y'all can check that out, right? Neville said the only way a man can turn his life around is if he goes within. And I ain't gonna lie, brother. If there's a point in my life where I feel that time is upon us, it's right now. Because even though I believe the world has presented itself opportunities for a man to get it out the mud and find whatever level of success and freedom he wants, I believe it's just as hard for a man to escape the mental prison that's been placed around every person. And I'm talking about that prison with invisible walls. I'm talking about people being held captive and don't even know it. I believe that part right there, man, is in full effect, man. So when I say a man must take control, man, I'm gonna say this. The first thing you have to understand is that you aren't in control. I believe that's the first step of taking control, man, is realizing that, hey, you know what? I've been living my whole life, 20 years, 40 years, 75 years, 87 years. And I haven't even been in control. I'm going to tell you how you can tell, man. If you can look at your life, man, and the entire time you've been alive, like everybody, like traffic is just flowing in one direction. You've been having the same friends. You've been in the same circles. You've been worshiping the same way. You've been praying the same way. You've had the same goal since you were 7 years old that you do at 47 years old. Everything is just in cruise control. Like nothing's really changed. That right there lets you know that you haven't been in control. Because I'm gonna tell you, the masses haven't been in control. You know what I'm saying? And if you haven't seen your life veer off and do some crazy stuff at no point in time, brother, you're still rolling on you're still operating under the same system that you were at 3 years old, 5 years old. Same thing you learned back in the day from watching the old television channels, or the same thing your second grade teacher taught you, or the same mindset that our parents taught us when we were children, thinking that at some point we would evolve and start thinking for ourselves. You're still running on the old software, man. So the first thing you got to understand is, hey, you know what? I haven't been in control. I haven't been in control this whole time. And I'm going to tell you something, brothers. When that happens, man, you're going to go into a temporary state of shock. You know what I'm saying? So some people may shut down for a day or two. Some people may shut down for a few weeks, maybe even a year, just to kind of process what life is and what life has been doing. I can remember when I had that aha moment, man. I don't know if I stopped eating, but I know I stopped shaving. I stopped cutting my hair. And I was just trying to decipher life. I'm reading Bibles. I'm reading books. I'm thinking. And when I snapped out of that trance, which was, I don't know, it might have been a few months. I'm sitting there, man. I looked in the mirror, bro, and I couldn't even recognize myself. Beard bushy and raggedy, hair no cut, no edge. I'm like, man. But that's when I snapped out of it. And I'm going to tell you this, man. The first thing you need to do once you come back into that awareness, the first thing you need to do is stop and assess. The first thing you need to do is stop and assess what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Stop and analyze where you're going. Like, you know what? Let me take 5 minutes and see where this train has been headed the whole time. I've been riding this same wave for 40 plus years. Let me see where I was going. Let me see who's in my circle. Let me see who I'm in a relationship with. Let me see what it is I'm giving back to the world. Let me look at my eating habits. Let me look at my religion. Let me look at every single thing that makes me who I am. Stop and assess, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I can remember, man, the first time my pops let me drive. You know what I'm saying? I was a young cat, man. He was always saying, hey, yo, come drive. And I'd be like, yeah, I want to drive. One day, Pop said, yep, get behind the wheel. And I got behind the wheel, and I'm sitting there, man. And before I took off, man, I had to say, you know what? Let me pause for a second and see where in the hell we going. I've been riding shotgun, but let me look at the obstacles I've been facing. The things I haven't even been thinking about because I haven't been driving. I haven't been in control of this thing. Let me observe the weather. Let me observe, my seating position. Let me observe every single thing that's gonna put me wherever I'm going. Stop and assess, man. And I'm telling you, man, a lot of people, when you stop and assess your life, you're gonna be shocked. You're going to be shocked. You're going to be shocked at the brothers that you rub elbows with. You're gonna be shocked at the women that you're laying with. You're gonna be shocked at some of the ideologies you have that you stand on. You're gonna be shocked on ways that you've been teaching your children. You're gonna be shocked on ways that you're supposed to get back to God and salvation. You're gonna be shocked about a whole lot of things, man. You're gonna be shocked on who you are. You're gonna say, man, why do people even accept me by me moving the way I am? And it's because they're running on that program. So when you look around and see that your world, you're going to be shocked at your world, man. It's going to be normal to the masses, bro. So the first thing, man, is just stop and assess what's going on. Stop and assess what's going on, man. Then I'll say this. Then you have to decide where it is you want to go. You got to say, if this is where I've been headed for 40 plus years, I've stopped and I've said, hey, you know what? This ain't what the hell it is. You got to say, where is it I want to go? And I'm going to tell you, man, as easy as that sounds, that's probably one of the most difficult parts of you taking control of your life, man. Deciding where you want to go, man. One of my favorite quotes, period, but one of my favorite quotes in Charles Hannell's Masterclass system, and I know y'all hear me say it all the time, when he was talking about a man must understand his power, must have the courage to dare and the faith to do, right? Have the what do you say, the courage to dare. Like that really punched me in my heart the first time I heard that, man. The courage to dare, which means the courage to think outside of the box, which means everybody's been flowing on this highway of life for the last 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Everybody's just been kind of going on based on what the world has been telling them on how to be. It takes courage to get outside of that system. And when I say that system, man, and I'm not sure if I've said this on a video, but I know I said it in Real 1%, and I know I talked about this in the Power Circle last week. You got to understand, the world 24 hours a day is always telling you who you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act. Oh, you grew up on this side of the tracks. Your skin is a shade of brown. It's a shade of white. It's a shade of tan. Oh, you grew up in this city. You grew up in this small country. You went to this college. You went to this trade school. You did XYZ. This is how you're supposed to conduct yourself. And without question, everybody looks around, sees everybody else following suit, and they put that uniform on and fall in their perspective faction. So when Hannah said the courage to dare, man, you got to be able to turn around and look and assess everything and say, you know what? I see what other people that look like me, that came from where I came from, that got the same level of education and all these other things, religion. I see how they're acting, but I'm going to have the courage to do my own thing. Bro, that's harder than it sounds. I'm going to have the courage to learn something new, read books that are foreign to me, live in foreign lands, date different people, study different religions. Like, I'm trying to go somewhere completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do something that nobody in my family has ever done. I want to do something that none of my friends or brothers in my circle have ever even talked about. Like, matter of fact, I don't even know a person that desires the things that I really desire. The courage to dare is huge, man. The courage to dare is one of the primary keys to get you out of that prison. So again, when a brother is saying, man, I'm tired, bro. And I bet you there's not a man watching this video that hasn't been in that state where he's saying, I'm tired, man. Not that I don't have the answers. Not that I'm getting ready to quit, because we ain't gonna never quit. Not that I don't know which way I need to be going. But sometimes, man, the world is just the weight on your back. Sometimes us as men, man, we get depleted when everybody in every direction is constantly pulling from us. I need this. I need this. Well, this is what's going on. I need this. I need this. While you're on your path to getting better yourself, it can deplete a man. So a lot of times, man, us as men, man, we get tired, bro. But I'm gonna say, man, it just like Neville said, man, like you have to go within. So again, that second part is understanding where it is you want to go, man. Sit still for 5 minutes, man, and let your mind, like Hannah said, the courage to dare. Like a lot of people, and for some reason this came to my mind, bro. This came to my mind. I remember we were reading David Dieter's Way of the Superior Man. And there's a chapter in there, man. It's the shortest chapter in the book. And I believe it's chapter 3, but I might be wrong. And it's the chapter is called Live as If Your Father Was Dead, right? And what I took from that chapter is there are a lot of limitations on us that we have no idea even exist. Like when I read that chapter, I understood that this is what I understood. When I read that chapter, I understood that a lot of the reason the way I move, and think the way I think, believe the way I believe, and all those things is because my father died at a young age. And again, I hate that happened, man. It would have been a blessing to have my father, even in my life today, as a grown man. But like I believe it's Napoleon always says, man, in every bad situation, there's always some good you can extract. And I was able to look around and say, you know what? I see an advantage, I see an advantage that I have over a lot of men that still have their fathers in their lives. And we can replace that word fathers with anything. We can replace it with mothers or grandparents or institutions or religions. You have to understand, man, that all things that are casting a shadow on us that we look up to and respect, it's putting walls around our lives. And again, even if we follow suit of our fathers or grandparents or mothers, that can be a good thing, but it's still somebody else's program. Like if your pops was a preacher and now you're a preacher, that's a program. Not saying it's a bad program. It's a good program. If your father was a banker, if your father was a judge, if your father was in the military, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of sense of pride of moving like our fathers, right? But at some point, a man is going to be like, you know what? Like, who am I? What do I want to experience? Let me come from up under the reign of my father or from the reign of my institution or religion or whatever it is over me and think for myself. Very few people are going to do that, brothers. Very few people are ever going to do that. Most people, if they can just get to the level of success in the ballpark range of their parents or mentors, they're good. They're good. But it's all about expansion, man. If we're living in the image, man, it's all about expansion. So decide where it is you want to go. Decide where it is you want to take this vehicle of physical existence. Like, what direction do I want to take it in? What do I want to experience? Over 8 billion people on the planet, and I just want to know the 100,000 in my city. I just want to know the 1.2, 1.3 million in my city. You know what I'm saying? Like all the waterfalls and mountains and Mount Rushmores and natural, and I just want to see the artifacts in my state. Who are you? Where are you going, man? I say it's the most important thing a man must know. So decide where it is you want to go, brothers. Take control. Decide where it is you want to go, how you want to live. And the last thing is this. Man, that's some good Joe. Then you have to find out who it is you have to become to get there. Okay, yeah, I'm outside of the box now, so I see where I want to go. You have to understand the old operating system is not going to get you there, bro. It's not going to get you there. I can sit there and YouTube all these PS5 games all I want to. If I want to cut that cell phone off and fire up my Atari 2600, I'll never be able to achieve. I'll never be able to see what I saw that the people playing the PS5 were experiencing. I'll never be able to do it. I'm still playing the game of life with an old operating system, man. So you gotta figure out who it is you have to be, man, and become that thing. And I'll say this, man, because again, these things I'm saying, it ain't the first time I'm saying it, and they're easier said than done. When I say become something new, become a new person, I'm gonna tell you this, man. It's all about having the gonads to reset. That's really what it comes down to. Of course, you gotta replace the operating system, but the reset is the hardest part. You know what I'm saying? The reset. Even when you put a new, and I'm no computer analyst or tech, but even when you start putting new software and new hard drives and all this stuff, sometimes your computer say, you know what, you got to reset this thing. Which means all these windows you had up, you were watching YouTube videos, you had your Spotify open, you were sitting there emailing the baddie, you were sitting there looking at all these things and places you want to do. And the computer say, now you got to reset this thing. You sitting there like, oh, God dang it. There's no way I can remember all these sites I was looking at. Like, I'm going to lose all of this. You got to be willing to reset, bro. You got to be willing to say, you know what? For the next 2 minutes while this thing is rebooting, everything that I was being entertained by, I got to be willing to shut it down and cut it off. So when this thing comes back on, I'm looking like brand new. I'm looking for new women. I'm setting new goals. I'm entertained by new things. I'm watching new movies. I'm listening to new musical artists. I'm into different things, different sports. I'm looking different. I'm dressing different. I'm eating different. All those windows that were previously open, like they were holding me back. These are the things I was searching for on the old version of myself. And then you got to start building new. You know what I'm saying? You got to bring new windows up based on where you want to go. Like if I'm a person and I want to go to Z instead of the C to where I was used to be going, like I got to be searching for different things. I got to be putting different prompts in Chat GPT now. I'm looking at different YouTube content. I'm not listening to trap music as much. Now I might be putting on a little jazz or a little classical sometimes just so my brain can do some different things, man. You got to have a whole new search engine, brothers. To become somebody new. To become somebody new, you got to have a whole new search engine, man. So all I'm saying is this, brothers. Like that time Neville was speaking about. Neville said, hey, you know what? There's going to come a point in time, man, where all these things, man, like, yeah, church is still going to be church. It's still going to be good. It's still going to be some good worship and fellowship there. Yeah, your political affiliation, whatever it did for you, there's still going to be some insight in there. There's still going to be some things in there to kind of keep you ahead of the know. And all these other things, your fraternities. Neville said at some point, man, they won't check the box. At some point, they won't be able to give you the answers that they once did. Because the world is doing something now. Neville said at some point, you got to go inside. You got to take control, in other words. That's how I take it. You got to quarterback your own life, man. And I'm telling you, man, most of us have been letting people call plays for our lives our entire life. Yeah, you think you're successful, and by a certain standard, you are. But we have to get to the point where we're calling our own lives successful and really defining what success is for us. Because if you ask the common person, what does success look like? Oh, you already know what they're going to say. Oh, the fat salary, the nice car, the fat crib, the basics, the generics. That's not success. There's no way in the world one definition of success could be the be all for every single person on the planet. So, when I'm talking about taking control, man, a part of that is you defining what success is for you, man. Define what it is for you, man, because if you achieve this generic level of success, I put this on everything. What you're going to find there is not what you think. What you're going to find there is about 5 minutes of fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like before the confetti even hits the ground, you looking for that next hit. Huh? Before the confetti even hits the ground. Before your friends even stop clapping, you looking for that next hit. You looking for that next high. You looking for that next thing to show the world you're successful. And y'all, I got to say this all the time. I'm not saying let's not go out here and get the bag and get the things. But don't call that success. If success is you moving out to the Mojave, sleeping in a one-man tent, if that's successful to you, if that's where your fulfillment is, if your fulfillment is going down to Habitat for Humanity on the weekends and putting in work, if success for you is getting the 20,000 square foot penthouse in Dubai, just make sure you define it for yourself, man. Because if you don't and you putting in work toward somebody else's success, you know what you're gonna be saying? I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna be saying, brothers. I'm tired, boss. Or you're gonna be calling me, I'm tired, soul. And trust me, I got brothers on every level that I talk to that are tired. That immunity to life's fatigue, it has nothing to do with what you can accomplish, man. I'm telling you. I know brothers that are tired, that got money falling out their pockets. They're just as tired as the man saying, "Soul, man, I'm just trying to figure out how to get life out the mud." That level of fatigue is across the board, man. And I'm not sitting there saying this. You got to understand that challenges are going to hit you on every level. Challenges and circumstances and problems and roadblocks, they're going to hit you at all levels at all times. Right when you think you're at the end of crossing that mountain, something's going to sideswipe you. Trust me, everybody's guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? But it's understanding how life works. It's defining our own level of success. It's deciding not to quit. It's taking control of our own lives is what's going to get us through it, bro.